Good morning, TCM. It's a bit hot out today, so hopefully we can get this tutorial done without the camera overheating. Today we're gonna be working on our reverse vault. We're gonna take it back to basics a little bit because I feel like it's been a while since I've released a basic tutorial. They've all been relatively advanced. So that's what we're gonna be working on today. Today we're gonna be working on a reverse vault. We're also gonna touch on a turn vault a little bit today because I feel like they can go really hand in hand when learning the skills because I basically teach them the same way. We're just adding a little bit of an extra twist. So if you're new, make sure you hit the like, comment something down below, and let me know that you're new. Say hi, and don't forget to subscribe because we'll be releasing content for you guys every Saturday at 11 a.m. if I'm not dumb and lazy and forget to upload the tutorial. So anyway, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment something down below because that's what we do here is we teach you guys how to do parkour as well as other things eventually, but flippy stuff, cool stuff. So all you're gonna need for learning your turn vaults and your safety vaults is some sort of bench, some sort of seat, wall, or whatever have you. And then if you want to take the turn vault and apply them into a way that makes sense for what we're doing, then you're also gonna need a wall that you can cat grab on, or even a rail that you can cat grab on, or basically turn vault over. I mean, it's gonna be real simple. You'll see what I mean. So we're gonna start with a turn vault because I feel like the fundamentals for the reverse vault for me personally are really inside the turn vault, and then you just kind of add a little flair and finesse to it. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna start on this rail here and show you the purpose of a turn vault. The purpose of a turn vault is to be able to like turn down a wall and cat grab onto it, mostly for like descending things. But this right here is what we were working with. So the idea is we're gonna start on this side here and we're gonna turn vault over and catch into our cat grab. And at this point, you're like, Dylan, you said turn vault like a billion times. Like, show me what it is. Like, I don't know what it is. Well, here you go. All right, so when doing the turn vault, we're gonna have one hand facing forward and the other hand facing backwards. So this way we can get a proper turn through here. And of course you want it to be something small enough that you can actually like get over the whole thing, but something high enough to challenge yourself. You know, you can always start small and build it up later. So don't be too worried about that, and don't be too worried about having something with a drop behind you because it's not necessary. As long as you can get the fundamental down, like that's what matters, just getting over. So the way this is gonna work, you're gonna have one hand forward, one hand backwards. You're gonna jump. With your forward hand, you're gonna start to pull your body over the rail, and with your backwards hand, you're gonna start to pull the rail to you. And now what this does is it creates a force that starts to turn your body. The entire time you wanna be looking at where your feet are going, making sure that you're getting over the rail. And once you get over the rail, you're trying to start to putting your feet down. Once your feet and knees pass the top of the rail, you're gonna start to put your feet down towards where you're looking. Now that forward hand is gonna reach around and grab the other side. And I know that sounds kind of confusing, but I promise it makes sense once you see it. So it's gonna start to reach around and grab the other side, and you're just drop into your cat grab. If you don't know how to do a cat grab, check the link in the description down below. I have a cat grab tutorial for you there, and it lays out everything, how to build up to it and the progressions for it. All right, so that's the base of your turn vault. If you want to start with an absolute beginner progression, then you can start with the lines on the floor of the concrete, or you can take a stick and lay it in the grass. And basically what that would look like is it just look like this. One hand forward, one hand back, and now I have my hands in a line, and I would start just like that. So you get the hang of the turn, as well as pivoting on that arm and the hand moving around. If you're not ready to do the turn vault straight into your cat grab, then again, find a bench. So hand positioning is gonna be the same as on the rail that I just showed you, but instead of going from rail, you're actually gonna go from one side of the bench to the other side of the bench. So you're shaping over the table. And it's that simple. And then once you have that mastered, feel free to go and try it over a rail or onto. Feel free to go try it on a rail or into your cat grab and see how that feels. It's gonna be a little bit scarier. For the reverse vault, I'm gonna head over here to the benches where it's nice and shaded because it's quite hot today. All right, so now that we have the shaded area, basically once you find your seat or your bench, it's gonna be as simple as putting one hand like you're gonna go 5 and you just drop it down, right? Give me a low 5, makes sense. And then you take your second hand and you point your thumb towards the top. So now you have this T shape. Okay, and you're gonna take your T shape and you put it on the top of the table. So it's gonna look like this. One hand down, right? So you go 5 and put it down. And then you take your thumb and you point it towards it. Now, once you have that part done, it's as easy as sitting on the table. Here, here, sit. Now, from this seated position, you're just gonna take your legs and you're gonna turn them to the other side of the bench. And it's as easy as that. So that's gonna be your whole reverse vault. Now from there, what you're gonna want to do is just don't let your butt touch. And that's where it kind of starts to get a little tough, but, get it? But anyway, but that's the whole thing. So you take your hands and you give it a little bit more power and a little bit more power and a little bit more speed. And that's the way that I teach it. Now there's a couple of variations for this. You do a one hand or you can do a two-hand reverse vault, but the concept is all the same. So here's the two-handed version of this. I'm gonna demonstrate this right now. And then now let's get into this one-handed tutorial for the reverse vault. Now the way this would work is instead of having your hands like this, you're actually just gonna take this one hand away and you're just gonna set this one hand down here. And here's the shocking part. You go through the exact same steps. Now, the only difference between the two hand and the one hand is the way it feels when I push. When I push with two hands, I can feel both of my shoulders driving into the floor, creating that block motion to get me over, versus when I use that one hand, I can feel my body pivoting around my right shoulder because that's the hand that's going down. Now, for as far as like your setup goes for stepping in, I like to do what's called I turn into it, but I don't know if it's necessarily called a gather step, but let's go take a look at my feet. So, I rock in, I step, and I step. And this foot here is the one that starts to push and lift me off, while my hand starts to come down through here. We're gonna pretend it's this one here. So I start to lift, and then push through this arm here. And that holds true for both the one-handed and the two-handed reverse vault. So common mistakes here. People will turn against their hands, which I don't know why. So if I have my hands like this, instead of turning this way, it will turn this way, and it physically just doesn't make sense. And then like the whole skill doesn't make sense, but the whole skill makes sense. You're just doing it incorrectly. Now, I don't know why this is another common mistake, but people seem to not understand this here. When you do it, make sure your elbow is in towards your arm. Not that you're pressing against it, but if I turn my arm this way, you can see how my elbow is facing outwards, right? And so this hand position just doesn't make sense. So if you're gonna turn, whichever elbow wants to turn outwards, the other arm has to go under, if that makes sense. But I've had too many students who are trying to do this thing like this. So like high five and then drop the high five, or low five and then drop your hand down. is the easiest way I can explain it. Now, the next common mistake is not bringing your legs in. So when you do this skill, and I talk about sitting, and then all you're doing is moving your feet over to the other side, that's all it is. So when you do that, you have to like lean back and, you know, get your feet up, right? But what'll happen is people are trying to like lay out like this, and while that's a cool variation, it's just not the normal basic way to do it. Master the basic way to do it and then add the variation to it later, if that's what you want. But you're here for a regular tutorial on reverse faults, so I can't imagine that if you're doing variations, you're necessarily watching how to do a reverse fault tutorial. So make sure you're tucking your knees in. So we go knees to your chest and then rotate over. And it's as easy as that. But with that wrapping up, that's pretty much what I got for you guys today. Happy Saturday, train safe, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell notification because we'll be releasing tutorials every Saturday for you guys at 11 a.m. I hope you guys enjoyed. Come say hi to me in the comments down below. Tell me what your favorite vault is. Anyway, happy Saturday, train safe.